Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 34, I think, of the Far Off Films podcast, where unfortunately I have a cold because I have been infected with environmental illness, and it's really fucking me up right now, so I'm in my igloo recording. Who's here with me? I'm Jules from the channel The Walrus Man.
That was a fun intro. I'm Luca Floopy Doopy from Floopy Doopy.
We'll pretend it's not the second time we've recorded this.
We'll
Yes.
pretend that's not the
I'm
first time you
Julianne
made a joke
Moore.
like that. Yeah. And I'm also Julianne Moore.
I'm Julianne Moore.
Yeah, we're all Julianne Moore.
At the end of Safe, where she is crying into the mirror. Anyways.
Yeah. And I'm Julianne Moore from Julianne Moore
Who else is
Productions.
here?
Yeah.
There we
So-
go. We're all Julianne
there you
Moore
go.
right now.
Yeah, we're it's the sequel
The
to
real
Being John
Julianne Moore
Malkovich.
was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
Being Julianne
So-
Moore.
Yeah, being Julianne Moore. We're all just saying Julianne. Yeah. See? It writes itself. Hire me.
Yep. Wow. Charlie Kaufman would be very proud.
Yeah.
Maybe being John Malkovich
No.
would be better if it was old Julianne Moore.
Baby.
Yeah, true.
I would rather be Julianne Moore, I'm not gonna lie.
I wish it was someone like
Yeah.
someone epic, you know, like Danny DeVito. What if we were all Danny DeVito or some shit, you know?
No.
We're all Frank Reynolds from It's Always
That would
Sunny.
be really funny.
Yeah. No. Anyway, what bullshit has been happening? Please tell us, Jules.
Exciting news has been happening. Is that Paddington 3 finally has a release date. It's the day we've all been waiting for.
That's the best news you could find.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. There's nothing happening. Like, I was looking on like all the movie news websites, and I was like,
Honestly, no.
yeah,
You're
this is
right,
like the only
though.
thing of note. Like
Nothing is happening. South
one of the
Africa-
articles
Yes. Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, I'm looking through like one of the sites right now. One of the top articles is like, Aquaman's drumming octopus is back in sequel. Like, that's news. That's the most news that's happened these last few weeks.
That's the best anyone can come up with. Aquaman 2 might make
Yeah.
money. Yeah. So
No, yeah. South Africa is.
I mean,
literally in the
it's honestly
trenches
kind of
right
news
now.
because
There's nothing going on.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, the next release that I'm excited for that is getting released here is only in December. November has nothing. And we're coming to November soon when we record this.
I think there are some
Yeah.
like indie films coming. I think the new Alexander Payne film is coming out in November. The Holdovers or whatever.
with Paul Giamatti.
Not for me.
Yeah, with Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'll go see it. I'm not like the biggest fan of like Alexander Payne or anything, but I really love Election, so that's enough for me to go see it. So
Well, Luca knows how good movies I'm seeing next month. I'm seeing the new Johnny Glizzy and the new Paul Mescal film, so that's fun.
damn, you are one lucky bastard.
I know. Actually, Timmy, there was something that happened. Did you want to give your thoughts on the Ghibli English cast dub? So
Oh.
you had stuff to say about that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, fuck. I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw the I think the English cast for How Do You Live, and that's what I'm calling it. I'm not calling it I'm not calling it American / English.
The
title.
Boy and the Heron.
Yeah, I'm not calling it that, and you can never pay me enough money to to make me call me that. It's not gonna happen. I'm calling it by its original Japanese title, How Do You Live? So, anyway, I
Call
saw
it
the
by
English.
its name.
Yeah, call it by its name. It's a very gay twink that looks like Tim Cham. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw the English cast and I was like,
He
I
kind of
felt like
does look like him, though.
I I. I honestly I felt like that cereal meme, that like meme where it's like the guy is pointing at the TV while eating cereal and then like spits it out when like, you know, when like he sees something shocking or whatever.
I thought you were referring to I thought you were referring to Leonardo DiCaprio there. I was like, what the fuck do you mean, that guy?
What are you talking? Wait, what are you talking about? I don't know. What do you mean, Leonardo DiCaprio
The one of him-
cereal?
The one of him going like whip, 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 whip. That one.
What? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I honestly don't know what Jules is talking about either.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're saying. Oh no! What? I said cereal.
Yeah.
That doesn't have any cereal in it. What are you talking about?
My bad.
I was talking about the cereal meme where the point is I was very shocked. I was like shocked by like the fucking stacked thick ass cast that's in the English dub. First of all, Christian Bale, what the shit?
Hell yeah.
And there are like a couple of Ghibli alumni that are appearing in this film. You know, I mentioned Christian Bale, who was Howl from Howl's Moving Castle. He is honestly the best part of the English dub for Howl, by the way. Like he and Emily Mortimer's like performances are like the only reason I really really like the English dub for Howl's Moving Castle. It's probably my favorite dub for any of Miyazaki's movies. And then they got Mark Hamill to come back as well, who voiced the bad guy in Castle in the Sky, which has one of the worst dubs in all of Miyazaki's films. But Mark Hamill wasn't bad in the dub. Yeah, that's weird.
He's an actual voice actor.
Yeah, he actually has like professional experience within voice acting, so you know that kind of helps. But the rest of the cast is just like, I was like, where the fuck did you get all these people? You got like Florence Pugh and like Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe and all these other, like, I was like, what the shit? Like,
Yeah, the cast goes so hard for absolutely no reason. Like, it just does.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Karen Fukuhara. Like she's best known for playing the female in The Boys, but like she's like a really really talented voice actress in her own right. Like I highly recommend Kipo and the Wonder Beast if you guys haven't seen it. She's like really fantastic in that show. So yeah, really really stacked ass cast. That being said, I'm still watching the sub. This is not enough for me to convince me to go watch the dub version of the film. I'm still watching
Watch the dub version when it comes out on digital.
Yeah, when it comes out on like Blu-ray or something, you know. Yeah, but at that point, yeah, I'll check out the dub just so I can see what the difference is. But I'm seeing the sub like first and foremost. But if if I watch it a second time, then yeah, maybe I'll watch the dub instead of the sub.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it, but it still doesn't have a release date in Australia.
Yeah, neither for me.
Really? So it's not coming out. You guys aren't sure if December 8th is when it comes out, because that's the release date for the States.
Oh, it's definitely not coming out December 8th for me.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it'll probably be like an early next year for me and Jules, probably.
Which really sucks, because I would like to talk about this film on the podcast, but the fact that I'd have to wait until next year.
Oh no, we will.
Okay. No, but like what I'm saying is,
sooner.
No, I mean I'm not gonna say what those methods are, but still no, you know. So yeah.
It's not even out yet anywhere.
But
let me have a look. It might have an Australian release date now. It's been a little bit
I was
since
gonna say, like, who knows? Maybe it's changed or something. So.
Nope, it still does not.
Okay.
Let's go.
Well, yeah, fuck me, I guess. So let me check the rest.
Denmark has an Australian has a release date for it before fucking Australia does.
Yeah,
that's really fun.
Yeah,
which I guess I'm a bit Yeah, Denmark is better than Australia. That's a fact.
Fuck the Danish. What have the Danish ever made?
Danish. The pastry
True.
is what
Those
I
are
meant.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah, the Danish pastries. Vikings.
Those are kind of good.
They have
Vikings
better
are pretty
movies
cool.
than you.
That is also true.
No.
Yeah.
Name a
The
Danish
Hunt.
movie. They have. Listen. No. Yeah, but they made Lars von Trier. They made Lars von Trier, and we made George Miller and James Wan and Peter
Lars
Weir.
von Trier is not Danish. Isn't he German?
Yeah, he is.
I thought he was like
No, he's
Austrian
Danish.
or something.
They're the
Right?
Danish. He's the Danish guy
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh god, he is.
because he invented the Dogma 95 movement with Thomas Vinterberg.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, Danish film director,
Okay.
producer, blah blah blah. Okay, who cares? Whatever. Anyway.
yeah. Well, either way, yeah. Okay, I have the
Yeah, let's get off
official.
Lars von Trier.
Yeah, I have the official English dub cast. So it has Christian Bale, Dave Bautista, Gemma Chan, Willem Dafoe, Karen Fukuhara, Mark Hamill, Robert Pattinson, Florence Pugh. Okay, so holy
Nice.
shit. This is all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Well, I don't know a single thing about this movie. I have refused to watch the trailers for the film. I've refused to look at any. The only thing I know about it is
It's
the
about
poster.
a boy and a heron.
Well, yeah, I know that for sure. I mean, you know, so, but that's about it. I don't even know like the basic, you know, like I guess I know what the character looks like now because I couldn't avoid the poster, but still, I'm trying to limit myself in knowledge about this movie as much as I can because I want to go in blind. Like I don't even know anything about the music, but I know it's gonna be awesome because Joe Hisaishi like always fucking slaps with the music. Like even if it's not like the best movie, like I know a lot of people weren't big on The Wind Rises, but the soundtrack for The Wind Rises is like fucking exceptional. I really love the music for that film. Yeah, anyway, so I don't want to waste too much time on me soy boying over Miyazaki, so we can move on to something else if you guys want.
A film.
Yes.
Miyazaki.
Yeah, a new. I guess we'll talk about the new movie from some nobody that we've never heard of before. Some fucking loser. I think his name is Martin Scorsese. I think that's his name.
Scorsese.
Yeah, some loser, some nobody we've never heard of before. So
Some guy.
yeah, some random guy. Yeah, his new movie, Killers of the Flower Moon. What did we all think? Genuinely, I was shocked that Puff Daddy from Shark Tale was secretly the killer of the Flower Moon this whole time. I don't know if you guys were. Yeah, Sykes from Shark
goodness.
Tale. I was very.
Bro,
I was
that's
very
like
shocked
low
by
key
that. I
a
didn't.
spoiler. Like you gotta like hide that review, bro. Like,
Yeah.
That's like yeah. That's actually kind of
Well-
high key a spoiler.
I mean, it's not really like a Scorsese said. Like, it's not like a who done it. It's a who didn't do it movie.
Yeah, like it's not like the film hides the fact who was the killers of the Flower Moon. It's not like they were hiding that shit. Like that's like the central focus of
I
the
know,
movie. So it's not
I just
really a
think it-
spoiler. Yeah.
I think it kind of does. It's kind of a spoiler to the end, which, by the way,
No.
is like.
The first scene where he meets him, he's like, "Okay, here's my plot. Here's how we're gonna kill all these guys."
All right.
Also,
Alright.
if I was really wanted to spoil it, I would have say Don what's his face, like because keep in mind Puff Daddy was played by Martin Scorsese. I think you mean I think I'm not the Robert De Niro character like plays someone else in Shark Tale.
Oh
He
wait,
was,
you're right. Yeah.
Don. Yeah, so I didn't spoil the movie at all. Like if I wanted to spoil the movie, I would have
the
referenced.
Robert De Niro dude from
No,
Shark
Robert De
Tale.
Niro plays someone else. Martin Scorsese plays Puff Daddy in Shark Tale. Robert De Niro plays someone else that I can't remember. God, get your Shark Tale facts right, Jesus.
Sorry, jeez. Sorry, I'm not
Don-
that into depth with the latest Scorsese lore, aka the Shark Tale. That's still so baffling that he was like a voice actor on Shark's Tale.
I saw a video where he was
some
just like,
directors have done voice actor performances for, because like Wes Anderson and Edgar
he's had the
Wright,
fucking
like,
wildest acting career.
play like voices in like the Sing movies. I'm pretty sure. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I think
really wild.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, Martin Scorsese's had like a really like wild like career.
Yeah.
In terms of like acting, because he was also in the Akira Kurosawa movie playing Vincent Van Gogh, and then he's also appears in like little cameo bits and stuff.
Yeah, he's
and he has a weird thing with he appears in a lot of commercials. I've noticed. Like he kind of takes very strange turns when it comes to his acting.
He just does whatever the fuck
and then,
he
of course,
wants.
he has Shark Tale.
Yeah, he has Shark Tale, and then he was also in that
Yeah.
episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where he directs Larry David. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
that was really funny. Yeah, so, but
That was funny.
yeah, but anyway, Killers
anyway,
of the Flower Moon.
this new
well,
film.
Yeah, what did we all
I
think?
think this is a good segue. Oh, okay. Yeah, mate, never mind. Don't worry.
Well, what was your segue?
What was your segue? If it's really
Well, my
yeah,
segue
just
was going
please
to be
tell it.
talking about Martin Scorsese's acting career and wanting to mention spoilers, by the way, that he actually has.
Yeah,
an
we're gonna spoil the movie.
appearance
Sorry.
in
Yeah.
this film, in the end, which I thought
Yes.
was such a
Which I really loved.
phenomenal ending.
Amazing.
Yeah, the ending was amazing. I really loved the ending.
Yeah. For as much as like I wasn't entirely hooked within the film, the ending completely sold it for me. And it's very much kind of like what we've been seeing a lot from filmmakers nowadays, like kind of the self-insertion, not like just to be like pretentious, but just in like a artful way. Like it kind of gave me Asteroid City vibes, where like the filmmakers are kind of self-aware with the art that they're creating, and they're just not afraid to just be passionate about the things that they're making and showing that very distinctly and like kind of fourth wall breaky within the film. And it was very much such an awesome ending to this thing.
Yeah, and I also
yeah.
really like
That
what it
almost
says
made me
about.
tear up, honestly.
Yeah, and
Almost
That
made
did
me
Yeah.
almost make me tear
and
up
I
as well.
almost teared up as well. But also, like, I felt kind of upset as well because, you know, you could interpret that ending as kind of how modern audiences like interprets and eats up like true crime. Like true crime now as a genre is this just sort of like trivial type shit where it's like, ooh, what did Ted Bundy do to get caught or whatever? Who did Jeffrey Dahmer kill? You know, it's like true crime has become this sensationalized topic where it's like, oh, we don't really care about like, you know, the actual victims. We just get interested in like the actual schemes and stuff like that. And you can interpret the ending that way where it's like this reign of terror that the Osage people underwent. Like this was like a really like terrifying thing that they had to like suffer through. But when it came to like modern audiences, they were like, they just treated it like another like true crime like episode of like their favorite show. It's not a show, but it's like it still trivializes like the same thing,
which is ironic in the
so...
way that some people have negatively reviewed the film, is kind of proving Scorsese's point that he's trying to make.
Well, what have people been criticizing the film for? I'm curious because I'm not fully aware of
It's
this.
so boring.
Oh, well,
That's the main one.
which I think that is just such
They're
a.
saying it's three. They're saying it's 3 hours and there's no mystery to the film.
Which is
that's the most common one I said. There's no mystery,
Which is such
like,
a bullshit thing to say.
you don't
Yeah,
understand.
because like
you don't understand even what you're watching.
Clearly, yeah, you just didn't understand what you were That's like watching The Irishman and be like, this is boring. I wanted to see gangsters shoot people. Like, that's not the fucking point, asshole. Like, I don't know what these people
There was
were
a guy that
expecting,
I
you know?
saw. He said it would be better if it was split up into a 4-part miniseries.
Oh my god.
So it would be better if it was the same movie with like a commercial break every like 45 minutes or so.
I wouldn't have minded an intermission because there was a certain point where I just really needed to pee badly, but I was like, I can't.
No.
I have to keep watching the movie, but I really gotta pee.
I held off. I held off.
Yeah.
I needed to piss badly by the end, but I held off.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
not.
I held off too, but I just thought it wouldn't be a bad idea to have like an intermission like in the middle for people who need to pee.
I would piss myself, Marty.
So, but yeah,
Eh.
but yeah, I feel like we can't talk about this movie without the performances, which I think they're all really, really incredible. I think DiCaprio is kind of the weakest of the three, in the sense that like he wasn't like bad in the movie,
He's really good.
but he just
I mean, I suppose out of the three.
yeah, he wasn't like bad in the movie, but
actors.
like yeah, it just kind of felt like a similar type of Leonardo DiCaprio character that I've seen in like other like Scorsese movies like this, but like Lily Gladstone was like fucking awesome
Not
in
really.
the film. Like I thought she was like
Oh,
genuinely
she was
fantastic.
amazing.
And this is probably like one of Robert De
Amazing.
Niro's like best roles in years. Like I don't think I've seen Robert De Niro like be this good in like anything else in like a very long time. But
Oh my god, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're both very, very Oscar worthy, and I hope they win the Oscars. So
Mm. Yeah, it's just I cannot understate how much I really loved this film. Like it was pretty much everything I wanted it to be and more. Just like
yeah,
slow, methodical, very kind of disturbing, despite not really being that violent. Like its violence are only in like brief flashes, but they're so disturbing and how like casual it is. Like when that one guy, spoilers by the way, like when that they just shoot those people out of or they shoot that lady out of nowhere when she's drunk out of her mind, or when the other guy just shoots the guy in the car in the back of the head and then just walks away.
but it's a really
There's such a casual nature of it that it's incredibly disturbing.
yeah,
to watch.
it's really depressing to watch because these are people who, you know, who pretend to be their friends. Like they put on this facade that they're friends, and it's like representative of the whole movie too, where it's like, you know, there are these group of people who just can't stand the fact that these indigenous people made a fortune and worked hard to, you know, achieve the wealth that they've achieved, so they steal it and scam it for themselves and not contribute any work. They rather just kill them and marry into their families to get the wealth that way. It's just a really just absurd, and it's all under the guise of like this friendship, you know. Like I think that's what makes Robert De Niro's character so terrifying as well, because his character
Evil.
yeah, is like he gives out this facade that like, you know, oh, I'm so friendly with the Osage people. I'm their friends. Like I can
I'm the
even
friendly old grandpa.
yeah, I can even speak their language. Yeah, it's like you said, I'm the friendly old grandpa. But in behind the scenes, he's this like really sinister, just like greedy asshole who's just like, I don't care how many people we go through, as long as I get my
Yeah.
wealth, you know. Like he wanted to keep this one
There's-
guy alive, I remember in the film, not because he cared about him, but because he wanted to keep him alive long enough so that he can get all the collect the insurance money. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man, like wow.
It's a horrible thing to do.
Yeah,
There's this
so-
one shot of him in the scene where there's like fire near his house, where he's just like kind of like standing or looking at the fire, and like the look he is giving it is just like, you can tell like that is a really like fucked up person.
Yeah.
Who has like no remorse at all. Yeah. That's why he's my favorite actor. Stuff like that.
Yeah, no one has like a lot of remorse. Like even Leonardo DiCaprio, like his character, like
Yeah, he lies at the end. He's like, I did not.
yeah,
He says, I didn't
do
poison
anything
you with the insulin.
Yeah, like
And then he sees right through his bullshit and leaves immediately.
yeah, exactly. Like I think there you could make the argument that he really did love her, and he definitely did. He at least loved.
Oh no, he definitely did.
Yeah, he definitely at least loved his kids. That's why he like betrays De Niro in the first place, you know, because his kid died. But I think that's what made the film so fascinating as well, because you can like see the conflict inside of him. Like he does, like one of the first lines he says in the whole movie is like, "I do love them money, sir." Like he clearly like loves greed and money and stuff like that. But
Love
like
that money, sir.
yeah, but you can tell he also has like him and Lily Gladstone have such strong chemistry, so you can easily like could tell that like yes, he loves her, and yes, he likes being with her, but at the same time he also loves money. He's a very greedy boy, and he's kind of like he's kind of under the thumb of Robert De Niro's character anyway. So like even if he like didn't care much about money, like he still had to do what De Niro said anyway. Like there's a literal scene where he spanks him with like a fucking wooden paddle. Like that's how much control.
That was such a good scene.
That was so funny too. Yeah, like that was like that, but that also shows how much control De Niro has over DiCaprio's character as well, and I thought that was just really effective.
Yeah, there's a scene towards the beginning where he's driving her in the car, and she says like, she calls him Coyote, and then says, I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it means handsome devil or something, and then she laughs, and her laugh is genuine in that bit. Like and I think that's the whole point of the film,
It
is that
seems
despite
genuine,
all of
yeah.
this stuff that's like this, this backdrop of what should not be interrupting what is kind of essentially just like a love story. That like, yeah, goddamn right, I want money, but also I've like completely fallen for you, like, and in that way he's kind of torn. That's why he hesitates on a lot of shit. Like, he was eventually meant to to kill her slowly with the insulin, and like so he could get her money. But the point was that despite all of that, they did actually love each other, which I thought was very poignant. Their chemistry was like really good. I think I see a strange amount of people, including my own father, criticizing Leonardo DiCaprio's performance in this movie, but I think his character is such a fucking idiot loser.
Yeah,
that's why he's the biggest fucking loser I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like
he's like
I don't think I've ever seen Scorsese openly despise one of his own like lead characters like I have with him in this movie.
And this is a guy who's like made movies with like fucking gangsters and shit, and this is probably like one of like,
exactly.
a character he like the most openly despises, which is hilarious. So
he's a massive fucking buffoon.
Yeah, and I love
he can't do shit right.
And I love how the final nail in the coffin of that is like as at the end where like one of the announcers is like, oh, Ernest Burkhart was pardoned from jail, and him and his brother live in a trailer park for the rest of their lives until like dying by the bottle. And I was
it's like he didn't come to anything significant.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was just really hilarious.
He just kind of he was just kind of the guy that was there. He was her husband, and then he kind of just kept on living.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he did love her, and I think was probably in real life probably heartbroken, he just was kind of like a nobody person.
Yeah,
like he had like nothing really identifiable about him. He was like, oh, I love that money, and I think Molly was probably the only person he ever probably really, really liked, besides like maybe his kids.
Yeah, like Molly was like way too good for him, and
Robert De Niro, which is why he like he clearly worshipped him when he was younger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and calls
him king and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, everyone calls him king in the film, but yeah, I see what you mean.
King Hail.
Because it's for a film that's like 3+ hours long. I did not feel the runtime of this movie at all. Like, I don't know how Scorsese... If there is one thing that I've always really, really appreciated about Scorsese's films, and it's the editing, I feel... I'm going to mispronounce her name. Thelma Schoonmaker, I think that's how you pronounce
Thelma
it.
Schoonmaker.
Thelma Schoonmaker, that was
Schoonmaker.
it. Yeah, she just fucking
she's amazing.
She just fucking gets Scorsese's films, like, because all of Scorsese's movies, and especially this one, are so perfectly edited together. Like, the editing really, really helps the pacing get together. Like, that's why this and The Irishman, as long as they were, did not feel long to me. Like, the runtimes just fly by because of the fast-paced editing. The editing is really what holds this movie together for me. So...
And it does. It reinvents the Scorsese formula, especially in the last act, because like throughout like all of his career with like these films like Goodfellas, Casino, and Wolf of Wall Street, they have this like kind of rise to the top arc, and then it all just comes like crashing down and everything goes wrong, but you can't look away.
Yeah.
Which he sort of does in this film, like once Jesse Plemons' FBI gets involved.
Yeah. But
it's just like it feels different in a way from those movies where it's just like everything's kind of coming apart, but this time you're more glad to see it come apart.
Yeah, it's
unlike where it's like, oh, you kind of root for Henry Hill or Jordan Belfort.
I was gonna say,
because they're charismatic characters, which is why which is another reason why DiCaprio's like fucking idiot performance, it works as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's funny you mentioned those movies because like it's one thing for, say, like a gangster, you know, like a Henry Hill or Ace Rothstein from Casino, to just rise to the top and just lose everything, because they don't Scorsese doesn't glamorize those characters, but you can see like kind of their lifestyle about how like once they are like deep into the
Yeah.
mob, like they have so much wealth.
He shows
and
you
power
why
and stuff.
that would be an attractive lifestyle to someone.
Exactly, yeah. But with this, like, it's one thing to screw over just regular working ass people to become a powerful gangster, but it's a literal quite the other to commit secret genocide to just to attain that same level of wealth and power. It's like a very different kind of portrayal of like the American criminal or the American mobster, I guess, if you want to call it. Like, it's funny you mentioned Goodfellas and Casino, but I saw more similarities with this character to like, I don't know, like Travis Bickle or like the character from Raging Bull. Like, I saw more similarities with those characters than any of his like gangster movies or anything. But I also see your point.
I saw quite a bit of similarity to the De Niro character from King of Comedy.
Yeah. That's
like a kind of like in like the way they're like talentless hacks who kind of are driven by one thing. But in a way, the Ernest Burkhardt is more human than Rupert Pupkin could ever be.
Hey, I think that's another good comparison. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So a lot of like Scorsese-isms that I appreciated, but were also pretty well subverted as well. I don't know how you feel, but I think between this and The Irishman, I still think The Irishman is the better film. I would sooner rewatch The Irishman over this one.
Yes.
Because
I don't know.
They're both.
I would say The Irishman is better, but like
The Irishman
I need to see this one again.
Yeah, The Irishman is the better film for me because like that one was like even though this I didn't feel the runtime either. But this one definitely I could like feel the 3.5 hour runtime in it. Well, it's hard to describe it because like
I can feel it, but I can't feel it.
But you know what I mean, right? Like there were points where I was like,
I think so.
Yeah, there were points where it's like, like this could
you checked out just a little.
Yeah, that's it. That's
felt
it.
The runtime
Yeah,
quite a
really
few
okay.
times, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At what points was it like after the Jesse Plemons character shows up?
Yeah, I think near there. I honestly like everything up until the point where he starts like poisoning her. I was really into, but I feel like Lily Gladstone, like you guys were talking about it a bit earlier, is such a driving force of this film, and I just wanted so much of her, and then like in the latter half of the movie, they kind of just make her sick and do nothing for the rest of it, And that was kind of the point.
Yeah, honestly, I sort of agree with you.
Yeah, that was kind of the point
because she was so great that
I kind of got checked out, and
I wanted more of her.
It started to become less about like the culture and like the people, and rather about the mystery of the film, and that's kind of when I started to lose a bit of interest. And then Brendan Fraser shows up as well, and it isn't really convincing at all.
Oh yeah,
that was really weird.
Like,
no, I liked him. It
felt like, when was this film taking place?
What does he say? Like
the film was supposed to take place like in the
20s.
Fucking Fraser felt like he was like
20s.
from the 60s. Like he felt so out of place. Yeah.
Now listen here, little boy.
He was doing the whale thing again, kind of. Like,
why didn't he use his flying power?
Yeah, why did this was before
to heaven.
Yeah, this was before Brendan Fraser.
That's where he was getting summoned to. He was getting summoned to the set.
This was before he had Sadie Sink as a daughter. Yeah, so yeah, no.
But
yeah, which is weird because like John Lithgow was also randomly in the film, but like he felt more appropriate.
Oh yeah,
in the movie
he was the prosecutor.
Yeah, but he felt more appropriate in the movie than Brendan Fraser. Like, I'm not saying like Brendan Fraser was like bad or anything.
I don't know. I liked.
Yeah,
I liked his performance. Like I read a little bit about the character he was playing. Like he sounds like a pretty like over the top, like just like I'm a showy corrupt lawyer. I think he embodied that quite well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I do agree.
So I imagine what Scorsese was going for in that character was just like a look how fucking ridiculous and over the top these like white people are.
No, I get that. Yeah.
When they know that they have a high chance of like losing at this point.
Yeah, I really liked the scene where DiCaprio is like sent to like the white people house. Like it's like this room full of like old white people,
yeah.
and I couldn't stop chuckling at that moment because I was like, that is the most amount. That's not the most amount of white people I've seen in a room, but you know, it's that's plenty. There's a lot of them.
And the guy from No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, I noticed him. Yeah. Yeah, but I do agree with your point, Luca, that I think I would say that's my biggest issue as well because
Yeah.
the film starts out as like it has an exploration into the Osage culture and like
Yes. And
I
they
mean
kind of dropped that
it perfectly
after a certain point.
it
And that was what
well
was really interesting me and hooking me in personally.
yeah. What for
yeah.
me, I wouldn't say I was checked out, but more like my interest kind of waned a little bit because once they solely focused on Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro and the guy from El Camino, I was just like, I mean, like I get the purpose.
The guy from The Last of Us.
Yeah, the guy from The Last of Us. I get the point of all of this, and I understand like we're supposed to like really dig deep into like the worst of the worst, so that by the time Jesse Plemons' FBI agent guy shows up, like it's kind of this payoff to like all this like misery and evil and crime that like Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio commits. So I totally get why it's here, and in that sense, it was interesting. But I really I was kind of disappointed how the film kind of like stops focusing its attention on the Osage people and like the culture that like basically like drives this film in service of just more like, okay, now we're doing more like Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, Scorsese like crime shit, if that makes sense. Like that, not to say that's not interesting or entertaining, that it was both of those things, but it was still just kind of like more of the same old that I've been expecting from Scorsese, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I thought the gravitas of those other performances like carried it. Just the idea of like, are they actually gonna get like away with this shit? Like, or are they gonna like face the very well deserved justice that they need?
Yeah, because that's.
I'll admit I was wishing for more Lily Gladstone though.
Yeah,
like she's an
She's
excellent performer.
she is the movie.
I think my favorite that amazing scene where she does the after the house gets blown up and he like comes back and he kind of just like looks at her and she does the most like primal, just like heartfelt like scream, like makes Zoe Saldana and Avatar look like nothing.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
That's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah. Yeah, like Lily Gladstone really is like the glue that holds this movie together. Like she is the heart of the film, and I just wish there was more scenes dedicated to her.
Yeah, I
like,
wish there was more scenes dedicated to her, and I wish that like they didn't like just write her off as sick for like half the runtime and actually explored like the trenches of their romance a bit more, because like it kind of builds up to them like really loving each other, and then like she just kind of gets sick and then he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna poison her now so I can get money. I wish there was a bit more like tension brewing there or something like that to like kind of maybe signify why Leo would want to do something like this to her, because like, and I know that can be rooted to like his desire for money and power and stuff like that, but I wish there was a bit more in that like narrative sense to keep me interested after a certain point, because that like,
I mean, also
this film has its highs, like the highs are they are there, they are glowing for me, I love them, but like like that latter half like just did kind of drag for me, honestly, and kind of I wasn't really that into it, but as I said, it comes around in like the most best possible way for that ending, which is just triumphant. It is everything.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, adding on to like, I don't think it was just like his thing about like he was conflicted about like about how he liked money and power. I think it was also that he was kept under influence of Hale,
Yeah.
and he was very very like clearly terrified by him.
Yeah.
Like the scene where they go in the car and he's just really like tearing into him like the front is the front, the back is the back. How did you fuck that up?
He's
Yeah.
gonna make it look like
Also a great
himself.
piece of acting.
Yeah.
When he delivered that line, that made me laugh.
Yeah, it's and also I just just disagree that like I don't know. I just think that yes, like I would have preferred more Lily Gladstone, but I also like how the second half is kind of also dedicated to his like inner conflict as well. Like he genuinely seemed terrified by like
He flip-flopped.
by like the bombing, like the explosion that happened at like Lily Gladstone's sister's like house or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that was like a really effective and powerful scene. And then like you actually see like the burn victims or whatever from that explosion. You see like the husband, he's like stuck under rubble, and then like Lily Gladstone's sister's like head is like completely blown off and stuff like that. It's like a really striking moment. And then there are like ton of like that's why like
That was a
even though the second act of this film wasn't as interesting as the first or third, it's still like littered with like really powerful and like striking moments for me that like didn't like that like yes, like it's every now and then like my interest would kind of waned a little bit, but it's like there was always something happening that like kept me invested.
I'm just also
I
kind
think there
of
were scenes where he
little autismo, so I I think I would have liked it more if I like had my time to pause
not
it
autismo.
and not in one big thing, because it's weird because like my best experiences are always in a movie theater because I can't get as distracted watching the movie, but also like there is a breaking point for me where I do like need a bit of a break, need something to fidget with, like after a certain amount of time. And I was sitting there and I needed to pee, and I still had another 2-hour movie after this, so I was just like in the trenches. I was like, yeah. Oh yeah, I should have talked about the festival earlier because I went to. Okay, I can do that after this, but yeah.
Okay.
yeah. We'll do a little in between.
Yeah, we'll do a little in between. But yeah, like I said, those highs are highs. Like Timmy's saying, his interest was dwindled a bit, but like for me the highs are high. Like it's just so great, but also there's like a lot of fluff in between that I personally think could have been more tightly knitted together. But yeah. I still think it's a great film. It's definitely a big passion project.
I think this is an amazing film. I thought.
Yeah. Like
just, I don't know. I feel. I was like. Actually, no. It was more like I just couldn't. He still has He's still got the magic at even his age. Like the spark. He's never lost it. He's just he clearly he knows what he's doing perfectly.
Yeah,
and I think
he's still producing great.
He knows
quality.
it. He knows it. He clearly knows it more than ever now. Like especially with that
You
final
think this is gonna be his final
scene.
movie?
I think.
Oh no, God no! He's still. I think he's
I hope
planning.
not.
He's already planning.
He
like,
might have
movies.
at least 2 more in him.
Yeah, he's already planning 2 more movies. His next movie.
I don't know if he's in I mean, he's always planning something, but I don't know if he's in like his kind of like efficient stage anymore. He might just be like, sort of. I mean, I suppose COVID kind of hit the movie, but
he's also like
taking like several years between projects.
Yeah,
so,
he's also
'cause
like
he's not as fast as he used to be.
Yeah, he's an old.
He's
grandpa.
still got the mind clocking away.
Yeah, but I think it's I mean, he still definitely has movies in him. I know he's making a movie with DiCaprio.
Okay.
It's called like The Wager or something like that. Like it's like something about like a ship mutiny, and then
Hopefully his new documentary should be out next year.
I just
Yeah.
thought that
exciting.
that ending was so powerful. Like I thought that was just his ending.
Yeah, if that's the final scene in a Martin Scorsese film, that would be
it.
amazing.
Well,
that
you
would be.
you
It
also
feels-
could have argued.
Yeah.
You also could have
He
argued
looked
that
like
about...
he was almost crying in that scene. Like, he clearly, as, like, a person, has kind of come to terms with, like, that this happened, and, like, just how, like,
Yeah.
horrifying and gut-wrenching it is,
like,
and how, like, terrible it is that it's been, like, forgotten, basically, like,
No
like
one
those
cared
other
about
parts
it.
of
Yeah, it's been
American history that are so violent, but are so, like, vital into individual cultures, like they mentioned the Tulsa massacre quite a few times.
Yeah, but that's also like another historical event that's like basically been forgotten, and the only reason it has like
Yeah,
any
exactly.
relevance anymore because it was in a superhero show, and a superhero HBO show, you know, like
Yeah.
it
What?
really, yeah, Watchmen,
Really?
remember? Yeah, the HBO Watchmen series.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
really
yeah,
like...
what were you saying?
No, what I was saying is like it really if this was like the final scene, final movie, whatever, of a Scorsese film, I think that would have been a really like high note to end, because yeah, I like I said, I already said about like how like the film kind of like highlights the trivial nature of how American audiences and just most modern audiences in general, like, you know, consume true crime shit. But this and like The Irishman was because The Irishman also ended on a really powerful note, that could have been the last like ever scene of
God,
Martin
yeah.
Scorsese. You know, it's like I think
Don't let the
Scorsese...
door open all the way.
Yeah, I think Scorsese is in this current state of his career and his age where he knows he's not going to live forever. He knows he can only make like a couple
Yeah.
more movies left.
He's not long for this world.
Yeah, so like he's going to... the last couple of movies he makes, he's going to like kind of in some way or shape or form like express his like artistic feelings about this state in his career at his age, where it's like, dude, I'm like really old, I'm not going to be able to make movies forever, so like in case this is the last movie I ever make, I want this to be like symbolic of how I feel about not just the subject matter but also just kind of like the overall like artistic craft of making movies as well. And I really respect him for that. He's like, say what you want like about, you know, his how like he said Marvel is poo poo or whatever, but you know, he's like a very valuable artist that I really respect and appreciate, you know. So, and the fact that people are still mad and upset about that like kind of goes to show how immature Marvel fans are. Like, just grow up, okay? Like this, he said this like what, 3 years ago? Like, fucking
Preach.
forget about it. Like he clearly stopped caring about this a long time ago. I don't know why you still care about it, you know? Like,
well, apparently he brought it
Grow
up
up.
again in like a recent interview, so that's why people have been like kind of riled up again.
And I bet like
Well, he just used it as an example where he was like, yeah, this is what, like, people are just consuming these Marvel pictures, but I think the indie films are what everyone should be going for. And that's a very general statement.
yeah, that's like something everyone knows on the planet except Marvel fans, I guess. Yeah. Like, I bet you 95% of people who consume Marvel movies have never heard of Martin Scorsese, and I think that's the saddest thing in the world.
No, they've probably heard of him, but like they probably just don't vibe with him. And speaking of,
They think he only makes gangster films.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they think. I think I even saw like a tweet back in the day where it's like, oh, this is the guy who only makes gangster movies. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to him. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? Like, yeah, when I think gangster movie, I think Last Temptation of Christ. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. When I think gangster,
I mean, that's kind of a gangster film.
I guess
That's
so.
a gangster film if you think about it.
Yeah.
straight up G film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've kind of had to
The OG gangster film.
I've kind of had to come to terms that I am not really someone that really seems to connect to Scorsese's work that much, which is sad, but I guess that's just how my brain operates. Like, my favorite film from him, it's not Taxi Driver or Goodfellas or, you know, one of the big dogs.
It's After Hours.
After Hours is my favorite film from him.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And
yeah.
yeah, like,
I still haven't seen it. So.
So yeah, like I'm kind of like, yeah. So I kind of I'm not always like super fully on board with his work, and you know, maybe that makes me like not a real movie fan or whatever. But yeah, like it's just not really.
Gotta get kicked off the podcast now because we don't share the same opinion.
Yeah, but it's not always stuff that I really connect to. But I think this film like like I think that what you guys were saying about like if this was like the final Scorsese film,
It's okay.
Like that ending like really got me. It really made me believe. Like I really felt it there and then. I was like, Scorsese, maybe even though I'm not 100% on all of your films, I get you, homie.
Marty.
Get you, Marty.
Yeah.
I get you.
Marty Kundun, I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, Luca. I connect with Denis Villeneuve more than I connect with Luca Guadagnino. And that bit is never.
I fucking knew it.
And I'm the one editing this episode, so that's not even going to stay in there. So you got no proof I ever said that.
Okay.
Fuck you.
All right. Yeah.
So wait, are you like being serious there, or like?
No comment.
Okay. I mean,
let's just get into ratings if we don't have any.
No, I love Guadagnino more.
Yeah,
don't
oh my
worry.
god. Let's just get into ratings.
You may fucking call me by your name.
Unless we have anything else we want to say.
Yeah, no, I could rant about, or not rant about this, but just gush about this film for hours.
I mean,
think it's
yes.
brilliant. I think it's only going to get better every time I see it.
Honestly.
So can I, but
I'm very much looking forward to seeing it.
I honestly kind of want to rewatch it. I'm probably not anytime soon because I don't have another 3 hours.
I'm
going to
rewatch it soon.
Yeah, but I would like to revisit this, before the end of the year again. So, but whatever.
Well, it's coming on Apple TV sooner or later.
Which I don't have.
I still haven't said when.
So, which I don't have.
I thought it was supposed to come out on the same day as the cinema release.
No,
it's having its theatrical run first, and then
it's Scorsese. They wouldn't dare do that.
Yeah, they would never want to do that anyway. Yeah, that'd be like, let's release Oppenheimer.
Do you know how pissed off he would get?
Yeah, that'd be like, let's release Oppenheimer on this in theaters, but also on TikTok at the same time. Like that's insane. They're never gonna do that. But yeah. Anyway, 8 out of 10. Very, very great movie. Really loved it. Quite loved it. So
9 out of 10. I adored it. Really, really, really good. Could possibly become a 10. It's 'cause Marty, you're the best.
Yeah, love you, Marty.
Yeah, Marty, love you.
Yep.
Even though I don't get
But
you.
it's a 7 out of 10.
Oh wait, no, I get you, even though I don't love you. But I still love him, come on. You can't not. Even though I don't love a lot of his films, I love the man. I would say this is a 7 out of 10 for me. But if I watch it in a better environment for me personally, and I get to experience it again, I think it can go up. Because... yeah, like I said, the highs are high, and they're the only bits that I'm thinking about the film anyways. So, yeah. And it's a great film. So, yeah, high 7 for me. As of right now.
Yeah.
Will it be in your best of the year
will
list,
be.
do you
It
think,
will be,
Luca?
definitely.
In 2023?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah, nice.
It's going to be very high in mine. It's still not as good as Perfect Days, though. I liked Perfect Days more.
Yeah, I still gotta get around to that.
I don't think it's even released. It's only just got released in Japan.
Anyway, you want to briefly talk about your festival experience, Luca, before we talk about,
tell us about your experience.
the movie? Yeah.
So yeah.
Before we get deep into the recommendation.
Yeah, I was at the... How long have we been recording? Should I even do it in this episode?
I mean, you can, but
it's gonna be a long one.
well, keep in mind,
it's only.
I have to.
We're less than an hour in.
Well, I have to leave at around like my time. Right now it's 8:04 right now, and I have to leave around like 8:55 ish because I have to start working a bit. So
I
so
can do
that's
it next
why...
episode.
Okay.
It's fine. I can do it next episode.
Okay, that's
Alright,
fine.
cool.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, and you can cut all this out, Jules. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, you want to get into the recommendation then?
Yep. Okay, so the film I recommended was a film from 1995 called Safe, directed by one of my favorite filmmakers, Todd Haynes. It's about a woman, a housewife called Carol, played by Julianne Moore, who moves into a new kind of neighborhood, and then she kind of becomes struck with this mysterious illness she can't identify or cure, and it's a really disturbing and very kind of thematically rich film that I really love. Yeah, what'd you guys think?
Luca, you can go first.
I think this is one of the most profound and moving experiences I've had with a film in a long time. I think this is
Yes.
this is something that I didn't know existed until Jules recommended it.
No one does. No one does.
And it is up there in one of my absolute favorite films of all time as of now. It is such
Oh my fucking god, yes!
It is such a just powerful movie. It is such a phenomenal exploration of identity and self-love and self-hatred and not coming to terms and I'm being too afraid to come to terms with why you may be feeling a certain way. And for me, as a trans person, this film connects to me extremely deeply, even though it is not even a film specifically about a trans person. It is a film quite literally about a cis woman.
A cis white woman in an upper class neighborhood.
Yeah, like the opposite of that. Yeah.
But its themes are monumental and can be spread to almost everyone and everything, and that's special. And I love this movie beyond no end. So yeah.
You love it more than me, definitely.
I probably love it more than Jules.
If you think it's one of your, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it probably would be one of my favorite films, but I don't know why to call it that, like, just yet. I have to see it a few more times. This is like my third viewing of it. Yeah, Timmy, what did you think?
Well, you guys do a pretty good job of predicting my shit of how I feel about, these recommendations, and I hate to admit it, but you guys were very correct on how I feel about this film.
Dead on.
Yeah, like
dead on.
Dead ass. Overall, I think this is a good movie. I really did enjoy this film, and I was very invested from beginning to end. There's definitely a lot that I was picking up on that I'm curious to revisit in like a rewatch, because even though the film is like about like the environment and like a mysterious disease that's like there's a lot that you could kind of take about this now that you would argue is even more relevant than it was back then, because I can imagine if we saw this like during like COVID pandemic or whatever, we would have had like an existential meltdown, because like there was a lot of parallels and similarities.
Yeah, this would have been like one of those films that would have been like, you'll never guess that this film predicted COVID.
Yeah, like if you thought like what was that Steven Soderbergh film that everyone was like crazy about, Contagion or something? Yeah, like if you thought that was like insane, that I feel like this would have frightened me even more than Contagion. And there are definitely very effective horror.
This frightens me to hell now.
I guess if you want to call it that.
I'd call it a horror film.
You were lagging. Okay, never mind. Sorry, you were lagging there a bit, but okay, now I heard what you said.
Yeah, I'd call this a horror film.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, there are definitely
Weirdly?
horror. Yeah, I would say I would.
I don't think I would. I don't think I'd call it a horror. I'm so glad that you showed it to me, and I'm so glad that we watched it. But for the theme that we put out for this episode, which was supposed to be horror movies, I don't think it really fits. But you know
I would count it as a horror movie.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
My bad, guys.
No, I would count it as a horror movie. It's more. It's like a specific kind of horror film, though. It's not like a ghoul. It's not like a ghoul running after. It's like. And I'm saying this as a compliment.
This movie is far from a jump scare.
It is a disturbing movie, I will say that, definitely. It is uneasy, it is unnerving, it's creepy. Horror movie, though, debatable. But
I mean, I will say this, and I'm saying this as a compliment. This movie is basically The Happening. It's the exact same movie as The Happening, except if The Happening like actually like
I really don't know where you're getting that from.
it's
to be
literally
honest.
the same movie. It's about like plants and nature like killing humans and like making them go crazy because they think the plants are making them go
that's not
crazy.
what the
It's the
movie
same
is.
thing. This is basically like
There's
a
not-
much better
Okay,
version.
It's not even
I'm
vaguely
gonna
related.
get straight into this. I think a lot of
Okay.
I think
Okay,
a lot
okay.
of people kind of see the film as see the disease that this person has as very literal, which I personally
Yeah.
don't think is what the film is going for at all. I don't think it is supposed to be seen as this real disease that she is experiencing, because the whole film is about identity, and the disease that she has is simply a hypochondriac. She is a person that clearly has an unstable and stressful and uneasy life, but she is scared to come to terms with that. So she is kind of emotionally manipulating herself into thinking that oh no, this is just a sickness that just is occurring to me. It's just happening for no reason, and I'm just unlucky for experiencing it. But no, I think it's a film about not being able to pick up on the pieces of why you would dislike your own identity, or dislike and trying to block out the negative aspects of the life around you, and just trying to, yeah, it's very much a film that is focusing on those themes. And that's why that ending is so powerful, because weirdly the film ends with her in a happier place than when she starts the movie, but she's still not fully there yet, you know. And there's this gut-wrenching line where she looks in the mirror and she's like, I love you, I really love you. And that might be her finally coming to terms with herself and what she feels comfortable with her own identity. Like the film's very
But there's a
subtle
level of
about
ambiguity
it.
to it, I think.
Sorry?
I think there's a level of ambiguity to it. Is she finally coming to terms with that, or is she trying to just convince herself of something she doesn't quite believe it, or is she starting
there's
to
a lot
finally
you can
believe it?
interpret about the ending
read
from
it
that
any which
perspective.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the film is very subtle about kind of just how fucked up her life is, because it doesn't really show it to you explicitly, but she has actually a very horrible relationship with her husband. Extremely fucked up and morbid, and the film doesn't hold your hand with it. It shows you the most minimal things it needs to show you, but it's there, and you can kind of see her becoming more comfortable and like expressive and normal when she's like not around her husband when she like kind of meets this new guy that, and like they're just unafraid to just be themselves. But like with her husband, she's so controlled, and she feels like she has to sexually motivate him and suffer through all this like abuse. But yeah, like when it comes down to actually like distancing herself from him, she starts to kind of like open up more and kind of grow a bit. And yeah, like the film is like, and I say that like it's a big plot point of the movie, but it's not. They show you like very minimal aspects about it. It's very much a film that you have to read into it like a lot and kind of put together the pieces. But I loved it. I think it provides such a profound exploration of identity and like the feelings that you have when you try to block out this sense of self-hatred, because no one really like wants to come to terms with the fact that they may not be happy with their current situation, their current lives, and you know, like dealing with the 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 how do I describe it? Like, I guess the not consequences, but like the dealing with the problems. Yeah, dealing with your own state of mind and trying to overcome a depressive state or a hatred of oneself. And this film is very much like about trying to excuse that and push it away, where it's better to just embrace it and identify those things about yourself. And
that's an interesting way to look at that's an interesting way to look at the film. I've never thought about it like that.
I think that's what it's mainly going for me personally.
I can definitely see that. I want to give the film a little more credit as to, like, you mentioned, like, the disease or whatever is like purely metaphorical, and that's certainly the case. I totally agree with that, but I do want to give it some credit in that like, I like how ambiguous the film is, in the sense that, like, oh, it could be a real disease, or it could be just something that Julianne Moore is making up. But then, like, I feel like that becomes less clear to me when, like, all these other people are also feeling the same thing that Julianne Moore is feeling. But you could also just consider that as, like, they're having their own issues at home or whatever. That's because they're kind of... And you can, like, consider it like
they're kind of being scammed by the guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Peter.
you can consider it like
a or are they being scammed? Because he has just like endless fucking motivational talks, but they all come down to the same message, which is just like, you need to, which in a way is completely wrong, which is you need to like deal with this like, within yourself. Like the only person who can get rid of this is you. And you know that we have to. It's all on you. No one can help you.
Sick, you know.
Yeah, and it's all their fault. Like
exactly.
It's their
like
fault
they have no one to blame for.
There's no other aspect. It's you. I think there's something really interesting that can be drawn from this character.
Pushing a sense of isolation.
There's something very interesting that can be drawn from kind of like this cult leader type character who's like, you guys, this is just in your head. This is existent. It's in your head. Your sickness, it's always temporary. It's not going to stay. You just have to overcome it. I think it's very interesting that the character that says and believes all of these things is also the character that has HIV, which is an irreversible disease that will stick with you forever. It's very...
Yeah, you can look at this entire film as like kind of an allegory for like the AIDS crisis that was happening back in the day. Like the film doesn't call like, it doesn't call attention to that, but like it comes a point where someone literally says AIDS.
Because Todd Haynes is a gay person.
Yeah, like so like I totally
grew up in that time. So yeah.
Yeah, and that makes sense why it's something like that is included in the film. And I thought, like, if you look at this film from like an allegorical perspective, you can totally see a lot of like real historical parallels, and to me that was like the most interesting parts of the film. I liked a lot of the deep like metaphorical sides of the movie. I like how much I could like parallel this with like either real history, or I could pair this with like real like emotional like what's the word, like real emotional states or mental states or whatever that like we could translate into something like this, you know. Like whether or not there's a real disease, who knows, you know, the film kind of leaves that ambiguous, but I think if you look at it from a purely metaphorical perspective, then there's a lot you can dig into. I really got out of the film. You mentioned the abusive husband, which is definitely a huge thing that I picked up as well. But another thing I really picked up as well is just like the life itself that she was living was like really abusive, or at least like very restricting. Because you could tell she was clearly, she was clearly just like really uncomfortable with like this like suburban house mom life that she was living. Like when she was describing her like job or whatever to like that one guy, she was like, "I'm a house," but then she stops herself before she finishes. With housewife, she says, "I'm a homemaker," or whatever, because she wants to give herself some identity. And then I love that scene where they go to the baby shower, and Julianne Moore is like sitting so far away from like the other like, you know, moms and like housewives or whatever, you know, like everyone's like kind of crowded together in one area, and but she's kind of like like, you know, sitting away from them. And like that's when like her freakouts start happening. She's slowly like she can't breathe, and you know, she has all these little freakouts. So I was interpreting the film from that sense for a bit, but then once they really like double down on like the environmental aspect. And I was like, oh, is that not what this is about? Like that was what I was interpreting the film for a while, but then they were like, they had these other things. So it's like, I think it's just a culmination of like, Todd Haynes had a lot of ideas that he wanted to explore with this one narrative, more so than it's just like, oh, it's about one thing and one thing only. Like, because I think there's a lot you can interpret from the film that I found really
definitely.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that being said, I wish I could praise this film as much as you guys, but unfortunately I could not connect with this film the entire way through. There was a lot of like padding for me. There was a lot of just like time wasting moments where I was just like, just get on with it already. Like it's weird. The first like 20 minutes of this movie was just such a slog to sit through, but I understand why it's there, so I can't even like, criticize the first 20 minutes because it's like necessary build-up. But then like the last 30 minutes just felt like it was just stretching things out just like really forever. But I was like, I get the point of this. Can we just like get to the end already? It was just like I felt like there was unnecessary padding and like time stretching outers that I was just like, that was just really testing my patience for me a little bit, which is weird because I could sit through all of the 3.5-hour runtime of Killers of the Flower Moon, but this one was just kind of like, I can see the very deep elements of the film. I'm not denying that there is a lot you can interpret about the film. I'm not denying there's a lot of artistic merit and artistic value that you can like really like mine into. And I definitely want to rewatch this at some point, probably not anytime soon, but I would consider watching this again like in, I don't know, next Halloween or something. But as it is right now, yeah, there wasn't just a lot I could connect with. I couldn't really connect with a lot of the characters aside from Julianne Moore's character, who she's great in the film. She gives a great performance, but like there wasn't really a lot of connecting tissue that was like really reaching out to me with this movie, if that makes sense.
I think her performance is monumental.
I mean, I don't think there's any.
I connected with
Amazing.
me so deeply.
This is my favorite performance. This is my favorite performance from her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, it's probably her best performance.
She'll never. I don't think she'll ever beat this.
Yeah, well,
she came close with Boogie Nights, but yeah, I don't think
she's
so.
very.
Yeah.
We'll see with
small.
May December.
She has a
though.
very small role in Magnolia that I also really love, like a lot.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But
Yeah, true.
yeah, she's just
True.
just great, and she needs to be in more things. Put her in a Wes Anderson movie, please. She needs it.
Yeah.
She's very special.
Yep. She's gonna be awesome in May December.
Yeah, she
I know it.
is. Yeah, that was like a movie that like was on my radar, but now just because of seeing this is like now one that I'm immensely hyped for.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Now you see why I was so hyped for
Yeah, like originally I was like, okay, Jules is hyped for this movie, whatever, and then now I've seen Todd Haynes' mastery, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
you see the vision. You see the vision.
it. Yeah, you see the vision. You're
I
like,
see the
this guy.
vision.
He's such
Yeah,
a
I
slept-on
see the
filmmaker.
vision.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, I just
yeah. He's a very like slept-on filmmaker. Like a bunch of people knew Carol and liked it, but like no one has really like. Not many people have actually like gone like full like into his like body of work, and not enough people has really discovered this.
There
like,
are some-
only less than 100,000 people have watched this on Letterboxd.
yeah.
Well, there are some films from Todd Haynes that I'm just like never
But
gonna
he's
see.
just like
'cause-
he's a fucking master.
Yeah, I get he's very talented, and I'm not going to deny that. But there are just some films I would say this, even though this is my favorite film from Todd Haynes, I don't really connect with a lot of his movies. Like I also saw Carol. I thought it was fine. I thought it was pretty good, but nothing. I didn't like love it or anything. I saw his Bob Dylan movie like a long time ago, but I can't really like speak for it now. And then Wonderstruck was awful. It was dog shit. There isn't a lot that I'm like really like
Yeah.
enticed to see.
I'm kind of glad he got that out of his system.
Yeah, I'll say Velvet Goldmine. That's been on my watch list for a while. I'll probably like that, but nothing else from him really like interests
That's one of
me
the
that
only
much.
ones I haven't seen.
Yeah, like Dark Waters didn't seem that interesting to
Surprisingly.
me. Far From Heaven is something.
Dark Waters is a bit is interesting, but it doesn't feel like one of his films in a way.
That's what it seemed like to me.
It doesn't quite strike me as like a Todd Haynes film. It's like, oh, anyone could have directed this.
Yeah, and I wasn't
And
like
it's not too bad, but like it's not too good either.
yeah, and I wasn't gonna see Far From Heaven because I know it's like very closely tied to All That Heaven Allows, but that's not a movie I really liked anyway. So it's like I don't know what I was gonna get out of this. So it was just something I wasn't interested in seeing. So I'll see his new film for sure. I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, that's it's just how I feel. So
Yeah. I'm gonna go on my full spiel about this film now.
yeah, go ahead,
because
please.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of already said, but I think this film is amazing. I think Todd Haynes is incredibly one of the best directors currently working, and I flip back and forth between like this and Carol as his best film, but this is probably the best film of his for the moment. But yeah, there's so much to interpret from this film, just from like the very beginning, where if I think the scene where he has sex with her, and you can clearly see, just like plain as day, like she is not like into it. It's not like a really like intimate, tender experience. She's just kind of like going through the motions, living through it, which is kind of an encapsulation of her entire life.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Everyone else is like how that, and in fact that one woman says when they're in the locker room, she talks about like how like you feel like you have control of your own life, but you really don't, even though she says that in the context of a book she's reading, I believe, but that's really how her life is. And even in that scene, like she's like, oh yeah, what do you think about this, Carol? And it takes her a moment to respond, because she's sat further away from them, and yeah, she's a very lonely person, and it's kind of horrible to watch her ordeal. And she clearly feels in the film that, like, because it's kind of funny, because when she finally realizes like, I've got something within me, it's the first time she actually has like a proper purpose of something to do that she has to do, instead of like, just like doing stuff like, oh, we got the wrong couches, I gotta solve this.
Yeah.
Which by the way, that scene has the guy from Breaking Bad in it for 1 second, which I thought was pretty funny.
wait, who?
Dean Norris. He's one of the moving guys. Is Dean Norris, Hank from Breaking Bad,
okay.
who moves the couch in.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. You wouldn't yet, but yeah, he's in the credits. So
Nice, yeah.
But yeah, but when she finally gets the disease, it's not disease. When she finally like feels inside of her that something is inherently wrong, and she has to find out how to solve it. But she's also considering like, why do I even need to? That's the inner battle between her. She's like, why do I even need to solve this? Because my life is so like mundane and nothing. It's just like, go to the barbershop, listen to my son's like essay about like black gang violence, and have dinner every night.
Yes.
And so she's like, why do I want to go back to that? Which is why I think the self-help kind of cult thing is so attractive to her, because it's an escape in her own way, an escape.
It's kind of it's like a new kind of environment where she can actually like thrive in. Yeah.
She's trying to regain the control that she never even had in the first place. Like, the mundanity has become like, she's become so used to it that anything else that's like kind of new or in any way is very like frightening to her, inherently.
Mm-hmm.
And I also kind of want to talk about the camera work in this film. Amazing. Because like, it clearly like
really
takes
great cinematography.
Yes, I mean, it's one of the most well shot films, not ever, but like it's up there. It obviously takes its roots from Gian Dielman, a movie we've talked about on this podcast.
Yeah, I could see.
But something that was very interesting that I noticed. Something that was very interesting that I noticed in this third watch was that it's all very static. There's like one pan sort of in like one scene, but it's all very static. It never moves. It feels like you feel kind of trapped. You're watching this like, and I think that reflects the mood of the character because she feels like tense. She never feels, as the title says, safe. But then when she finally goes to the self-help like farm compound, that's when it finally starts to become like more like not shot in a normal way. There are like dolly shots and like regular like kind of pans, and there are zooms in the film, but it's shot in a more standard way until she starts feeling even more isolated even at that place. And then it starts to become more still and Jan Dielman-esque. And also, I don't want to bring up that scene towards the end at her birthday where she kind of, they make her get up and do the speech, and she just can't. It's so devastating. She can't articulate into words what she feels, because it's the one time she's kind of fully confronted on like who am I, like how do I feel, and how does this thing affect me like in a proper way. And she can't even, she takes in the full realization of like, my life is like, or like I hate myself, really, like there's something, I'm not happy with myself, and she can't even articulate that into words, and it's incredibly devastating. And such a sledgehammer, just amazing performance in that scene. And then she has nothing left but to say like, I love you, I really love you, just to try and convince herself, or to put herself towards the path of healing, or however you interpret that.
Yeah, you could really interpret like this theme of self-hatred in the film as well, because it's like you said, like that speech scene was just really like, it was really uncomfortable and cringe, but it was also like, that's the point, because this is the first time she's like ever been given a platform, so naturally she's gonna like fumble. But like the way she's just like so desperately trying to like communicate like how she feels, but she can't, because she's never been able to even communicate how she feels in the first place. Like that's just like it's a really devastating scene, and it makes the ending just that much more powerful. So, and just Julianne Moore is just really incredible in this movie.
Because she never, when you see the scenes of her like out with her husband at dinner, like it's so like they're all talking and having these like very hollow conversations, and she's just like not into it, and then she has to feel the need to apologize basically to her husband, which is so like fucked up. Like she should never have to apologize for just like not being involved in a conversation. And the second she actually tries to talk to her husband, she's like, I don't want to. He's like, I don't want to fucking hear it. Like, just shut up, go to bed. We need to keep up this facade of being these like a little happy couple,
a happy suburban family.
Nothing is ever wrong with them.
Exactly.
Happy suburban life.
Like they'd rather.
Which is in a way how it affects the husband as well, because in a way his mundane existence that he actually enjoys is kind of punctured by his wife's, like, in a way self discovery. And he can't really accept that.
Yeah, you can tell he's really annoyed,
and that's why he kind of sticks with her. There's like no like scene where she finds a note and says like, oh, I don't like you anymore, I've run off. He just sticks with her because he wants to keep up that facade.
Yeah, he's probably just as unhappy as Julianne Moore, but he's more
exactly.
He's more focused on being perceived as happy instead of being actually happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He would rather see her unhappy to be happy.
Yeah, which is really fucked up, but whatever.
Yeah, which is incredibly fucked up. Yeah, just a really, really, really great film. There's just so much to interpret, like that. The character with the HIV and how just incredibly hypocritical he is in the way that he has like a massive house while everyone else has like a little
all these characters
igloo
are
or a
just like the
little
most
open
hypocritical people
air
in the
kind of
world.
like
Like even
tent,
like
basically.
especially the cult leader, you know, he's just
And yeah,
like so much hypocrisy going on
just
that like
just
I
incredible,
think Julianne
incredible
Moore is
work.
just like I really like how a lot of characters are trying to psych themselves into like thinking that they're happy or that they love themselves or whatever. Like when that
Yeah,
one lady like tells um Julianne Moore how to like
like fuck.
calm down or whatever, say just
Oh
tell
no, that's
yourself that
funny.
I love you, I love myself, you know. It's like it's a really
Yeah.
devastating moment when you have to like tell yourself that in order to actually feel the sense of self-love and happiness.
Yeah, and they all root this back. Oh, Jules is left, but they all
It's
root
fine,
this
yeah.
back to being like this totally natural disease that's happening to all of them. It's a part of nature. That's why we're experiencing this. You know, it's some natural airborne toxic event that just all of us are going through because it's a force of nature. It's out of our control, and they're like using this as this vessel to like hide from the fact that they are all just deeply unhappy and like and they're a part of this cult where they are being told constantly that like, oh, you just need to be happy and then the disease will go away, like just be happy, which like to an extent, like to a really far margin, like isn't like the necessarily the worst advice. Like yes, they do need to grow and like highlight the flaws within themselves to become better and healthier people, but it's not simply a thing whereas this is something that's all their fault and like it's they just need to snap their fingers and become happy, which is kind of like what the cult leader is trying to enforce and trying to accuse them of feeling, you know, and experiencing. Where like if you are ever depressed or unhappy or sad, it's not just a switch that you just switch on and off when you want to just feel good about yourself again or feel happy again. Like depression is like a slump and it lasts for ages, for years, for even some people. Sometimes it comes and goes, it like maybe lasts a few months or you just have a really fucked up week. But these are people that like have been told their whole lives that there's this or however long they've been at this camp or like this cult, that it's just a thing that has come across them and it's all their fault and like they need to just stop it. You know, and it's like that is not how you overlook these issues, and that's not how you build better self-confidence and self-love and self-esteem, you know. Like it's a personal relationship with yourself, yes, but it's not your fault for feeling depressed or feeling unhappy. It's because of surrounding things in your life, and these people are just being told to block all of these surrounding aspects that could be influencing how they're feeling, and just being told to sort it out, get over it. It's like the fucking Andrew Tate bullshit. It's like, if you're a sad dude, why the fuck are you sad? You just gotta be manly and be stoic, and then you'll be a proper dude. It's like, it's exactly the same as that shit. It's just like telling people to block out their emotions and feelings, and that they're weak and incorrect for feeling like that, and trying to indulge in it and overcome it. You know, it's just such a
Dude, if you're just sad, be happy. If you're
yeah,
homeless, just buy
literally.
a house. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I just
sorry,
think
I
it's
didn't
such a
mean to.
powerful
I didn't mean to
film about just that idea of self-identity and learning to come to terms with your surroundings and what exactly might make you feel distressed and unhappy. And yeah, I really like the use of like this kind of like hypochondriac kind of lifestyle. Like the sickness itself is just the stress of feeling like something is wrong, or like let me get the definition. Hypochondriac A person who is abnormally anxious about their health. Yeah. So it's just like it's a like because constantly throughout the film, Julianne Moore is like, "Oh, I've got this disease. Oh, does that have this in it? Oh, are you wearing perfume? Are you wearing deodorant? I can't be near that stuff." Like she is so stressed and like uh, like scared of the world around her because she's been being told that this is a natural thing that just happens to everyone, that she is unable to overlook the fact that that she is just unhappy with her own identity and her own life, and she's trying to provide excuses for why um she's feeling this way, and bits of it are probably because she was in, like Jules said, she was in this typical suburban life where she has a certain role to fill, a certain image to represent, and then from that she goes to this cult where she is being told that um, everything is her fault and she needs to overcome this disease like a switch, um, and she's never had the opportunity to just stop and think about her place in this film or in her own life, beyond the point of her just being an asset or a figment of someone uh, uh, that is being affected by the things around her. Yeah, and I just think that is such a powerful message to express. Just just a message about your own identity and the different experiences and interpretations that can be drawn with that. Because yeah, like I connected to this film so deeply as a trans person, but anyone can connect to it if you're in any situation where you just have like, yeah, it is so accessible. Like, because the themes of identity and self-esteem can be swapped out for any scenario that you're in. Yeah, and it's just such a universal theme, and it's explored in such a sinister but profound way at the same time. It's like morbid, but that's the point of it. And yeah, it's like you can hear my fucking voice like dying. Yeah, but because I've just been going on and on. But yeah, it's just awesome, just phenomenal movie. I love it. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Mm.
What do you guys think about the poster?
I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot.
I liked it, but it's kind of yeah. Yeah, like you look at it and you're like, safe. Oh, is this like kind of like a home invasion movie? Like, what is this funky
Yeah, is it
dude on
like
the cover? And then
because when I saw the poster, I was like, is this like Hush or something like that? That like shitty
yeah,
Netflix movie? Because that's what I thought it was, but then it's like something totally different. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's the best thing I could say about the movie. It's like there are so many ways you can interpret it, and there's no wrong answer. Like there are a lot of like different
yeah, exactly.
meanings that you can get out of it. I mean, that's what the best movies should be. It's like there are so many different interpretations you can get out of it. So,
Definitely.
yeah. So, wait, Jules, did you rate this already, or? Yeah, there were a lot of like, yeah, it very much felt like The Shining in that way, where it's like there's no wrong answer. It's like you can interpret like there are like 100,000 different interpretations you can make of it, and they all pretty justifiable. I mean, some are more reasonable than others, you know? Yeah, so I don't think The Shining is about how the Apollo moon landing was fake. I know that for sure. That's just a bunch of bull honky, but whatever. Yeah, anyway, 7 out of 10. It's a good movie. It's a high 7. I wouldn't be surprised if I could change this to like an 8 or something in like a rewatch, but I think like a high 7 is a good score. So,
Yeah. Cool.
yeah.
Well,
You guys
yeah,
really
thank you
can
so
read me
much,
like a book.
Jules.
So, yeah, thank you
You,
for recommending this to us. Yeah.
yeah, like, uh, you just pulled this out of nowhere, and it's like just such a fantastic film. So yeah.
Yeah, very. This is definitely a different beast than like Child's Play. Remember that was your Halloween recommendation from last year? It was really something. Yeah, you went. This is your anime arc. Yeah, and you recommend something wildly different from the last. So, mm.
Horror
Hellraiser,
comedy.
Hellworld, Hellworld, Hellraiser, Hellworld. Yeah.
Alrighty.
I could do like one question if you guys want to do one question before Luca gives her recommendation. If you guys want.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both like juicy, meaty ass movies. So like, yeah, they both required a lot of our attention. So if you want, we could just save the questions that Jules got for next episode if you want.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Okay.
already speaking about horror recommendations. I guess I should just move on to my one,
Sure, I guess so. Yeah, might as
Um,
well. Yeah, go ahead. So what are we
so,
watch?
yeah,
What are we
so
watching next time?
originally I was thinking, let me do Pan's Labyrinth. Um, but now I don't want to recommend that movie anymore.
Because we
Um,
both predicted it.
not only because you guys predicted it, also Timmy didn't predict it. Timmy was like, "No, Luca would never do that for a recommendation," and then me and Jules were just sitting in the call, like trying not to laugh our asses off. Um,
Well,
um,
there's another instance where I'm just a goof. Yeah. So
but yeah, because both of you guys did like horror movies that aren't really horror movies, so I was like, okay, we need a pure horror, okay? We need like a
okay.
proper fucking horror movie, okay? We need a proper horror movie. So I am going to be recommending a film
Oh God, I'm scared.
from 1983 called Angst.
Angst.
Uh-huh. It is a film called Angst. It's directed by some random guy who's only ever made this film called Gerard Carl. I actually can't. I don't know how to fucking say his name. But it's a really short film, and I tried to find another movie to pair up with it to like maybe do a double feature, but I couldn't find anything similar enough. So you know what? It's fine. It's gonna be a little short.
75 minutes. Wow, it's not even 90 minutes long. Jesus.
Yeah, it's a real short movie, but it is a really good movie. Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard of this. This has been on my watch list for a very long time. So yeah, I guess yeah, I might as well get it out of the way. Yeah. So, um,
yeah.
nice.
No
I thought you were gonna
spoilers, but
I thought you were
yeah,
gonna recommend like I thought you were gonna recommend like Possession or some shit like that. That would have been also pretty fire. But
yeah. But I
yeah,
wanted to
wait
see.
until
I
next
wanted to
Halloween.
recommend
So
something that you guys hadn't seen, so I was like, yeah, let's do this one.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do it then. Yeah. Well, Well, if you don't want to be spoiled for Angst, 1983, directed by Gerald Cargill. I hope I said that correctly. Watch it because we're gonna spoil it for next episode. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it German? Yeah, it sounds German.
Austrian.
I don't want to.
I'm pretty sure.
Austria. Austrians are just Germans with attitude, or is it the other way around? I don't know.
That's the other way around.
Yeah, that's the other way around. Yeah. So, yeah. So, anyway, another day, another dollar, another one bites the
Oh my
dust.
goodness. Yeah.
Good.
Stay safe.
That's it, everyone.
Out there, everyone. Goodbye.
Don't be a belladonna of sadness. Yeah. Bye. Bye.